This is Rubbin Minds. You can join the conversation by tweeting at us at YNigerTV. We're on Instagram at YNigerTelevision. Okay, let's take in focus Nigeria's growing population. Any reason to worry? Growing up as a child in a typical face me, I slap you compound, just like we call it in local parlance, I remember that we had this family literally next room. And this was a monogamous family of 12 people. I am talking about an entire football team, plus a coach living under one roof. And this shows the rate at which the population of our country is actually growing. According to a United Nations estimate, Nigeria is currently at 201 million people. And by 2050, the United Nations have projected that we would hit a minimum of 300 million people in Nigeria. And of course, we'll become the third largest country in the whole world. This is a huge number. Ordinarily, that is an advantage. When a nation has a lot of people, it means there is increase in demand and supply. So it should favor the nation. But in a situation whereby our public infrastructure and our development does not match up with the population, it then becomes an issue. With me in the studio to discuss this, I have a public analyst and lawyer, Mr. Kayode Oyemakinde. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You look good.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So, do we need to worry about the alarming rate at which we're growing as a nation?
Absolutely. We need to worry. And if you take a cue at China, some couple of years back, they had to cut the birth rate and told the citizens that they should reduce the number of births. I think a child per family.
Yes.
Then, but they are beginning to lift that, will I call it a ban, on its citizens, because then China was trying to put themselves together. And I think at this point in time, we need to cut our birth rate. We are having too much of offsprings. Let me just put it that way. Our offsprings are increasing by the day in an alarming rate.
Okay, I've noticed that if you go to low-income areas, you see that the population there is dense. They're densely populated. Is there any reason why people that do not make so much money like to have a lot of children?
Number one, illiteracy. Illiteracy is the first thing. And number two, I think when you are idle, you just find yourself together and, when you are busy, when you are really busy, you can't be in the office, or probably you have a blue-collar job or a white-collar job. You are engaged. When you get home, you'll be tired. But if you are home from morning to night, that's when you start seeing things trending on social media, whether for 2, whether for 4, whether for this and that. And
pregnancy for 1.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And so all those whether for this, whether for that, there is a repercussion to that, and that is childbirth. And you see, we are very fertile in this part of the world. And according to research, Igbora, a town in Oyo State, it's renowned for having twins. That's the highest densely populated area whereby they reproduce into twins in the whole world.
Wow.
Yeah. Igbora, it's a place in Oyo State. So virtually in any family you get to Igbora, any big family, they are likely to have at least a twin in the family. Yeah.
Well, apart from, like you said, idleness, why is it that people in low-income areas also don't take into cognizance birth control?
As I said, illiteracy. And illiteracy will also you can link illiteracy to ignorance too. Because if they are literate, probably they'll be able to approach the PHCs around them, that the primary health centers, and you'll be able to guide them as regards what the ladies use
birth control.
Birth control, yeah. Family planning, good.
Family planning.
So when they don't have the knowledge or probably the money, the wherewithal to do all this, they keep giving birth to children, and just like children you see all around that they are ready pounds in the hands of criminals, and men of the underworld and Boko Haram and all these things like that. You
right.
hardly see someone in a properly brought up home. You will find a properly brought up home, but the rate at which you will see in homes like that, whereby their children turn to, pounds in the hands of criminals, are very, very limited.
And let's get into the impact on the economy. How has what is the implication of our high population on the economy?
Now, they're all seeing it. You can find jobs anywhere right now, except you create one. The little you find, it is difficult to get in. And when you get in, you see the conditions of service. You see the pay. It's nothing to write home about. It is not a take-home pay. And why would they do this? Because if you can't do it, get out. That's what they will tell you. Because as you are getting out, somebody else is coming in to fill in your space. So you just have to do it, even if they are doing things against your wish or against the law. That's one fact, because there is no job. So the government should look into the issue of population. We need to cut our population in Nigeria right now. It is expedient we do so. When we cut our population, we should now try to increase our economy, the productivity of our economy, so that jobs will be created. Then our policies too should be checked. Because when we have a large population, the policies are not favorable, especially for the foreigners, expatriates to come in, investors to come in to invest in our country. Where are the jobs? But when we reduce our birth rates and we have more jobs, at that point in time, you can tell your boss that what you're giving me is nothing to write home about. In short, he won't want you to leave because he knows that he's going to lose something. But if you leave, you don't know the number of graduates we have right now. There was a research that came out during the week that the number of PhD holders that are jobless right now, they mentioned something about 8,000 PhD holders that they don't have anything doing.
So if you're to advise the government, what policy do you think they have to put in place to curb down our population? Are you suggesting a China, permit me to use the word, a China method?
Yeah.
Are you saying that there should be sort of a law to limit the amount of children one can have?
Yes, they should limit the number of children we're going to have, one. Two, they should create an enabling environment. For example, power is something that you cannot throw away power in a reasonable economy in any country that know what they are doing, because where you can't get a job, you should be able to create one. And the first thing that you want to buy is generator. Come on, But when the power is there, you know that generator has been sorted. So power should be our policies, our infrastructure should be done, should be put in place. Then the population too should be curbed, because when we don't curb the population, we will now have more workmen, more work to more what's the name?
Yes.
More manpower than the job itself. Then there is a crisis. Look at what happened in 2014, I guess, whereby was it immigration or so? They wanted to recruit at the stadium. One of the
yes, and there was a stampede and
a lot of people died. What is the slot? Probably they wanted to recruit about 3,000, and they had probably over 10,000 coming to write the exams. And there was a stampede and a lot of people died like that. So you could imagine the issues that we'll be facing as a country because there are no jobs.
Okay. But on the flip side, if we are to consider our numbers, it should be a strength. Take, for example, countries like China and India. They've been able to harness their population strength, and they've been able to have enough development in their country. So why can't we harness our population as a strength?
We don't know what we are doing as a country. I'm so sorry to say that, because a lot of things that you see around. Okay, I read in the pages of the newspaper there was a governor that paid X amount of money in billions to marry or to bury its citizens, its indigenes of the states. That money should have been channeled. If somebody wants to get married, maybe your family, is it the government's business to get them married? Or somebody died? Is it the government's business? The dead should go and bury their dead, or the living should go and bury their dead. That's just the thing. They should have channeled that money into infrastructure development, into creating initiatives that will create jobs. And the jobs will naturally multiply, because you can't do it alone. You will need somebody else to work for you. But when you're now using the money to probably bury the dead, to marry off some, maybe those that don't have husbands and so on and so forth. Predominantly it happens in the north. And in the south here, you will see bogus allowances for our legislators and the like. Even everywhere in Nigeria, in short, it's not a matter of a particular site in the country, either a particular geopolitical zone. It is everywhere. So when the government say, if they decide to say, let us get this thing right, we will get it right, then the population itself, it's going to be a strength, because they don't need to. Some countries, they look for expatriates.
Yes.
For example, in Gambia, I don't know if it is still, if the current CJ, the current Chief Justice of the Federation of Gambia, is a Nigerian. Our teachers, there is something they call TAC, Technical Aid Corps or something. We need to send, they request us, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to send some of our people down to their countries, judges, teachers, and the likes like that, accountants and so on, to help them in their own country, meaning that their own, their population, they don't have that capacity to engage the system and make it work. So they need to, in quotes, import. And they look to Nigeria as a country to help them with that.
Yes.
Now, for us to even send our people there, just to let you know that some people need them. But why is it that we are not even giving those people jobs? Before they will go there, they should have something doing here.
Yes. It still boils down to the issue of the brain drain we're experiencing in the country.
Yeah, the middle class especially.
All over the world, in America, in Canada, it's some of their best health professionals, the Nigerians. And so that leads me to the next question. How would the government stop brain drain? Because if we're losing our best heads and our best hands to other countries, it directly impacts on our economy. It means that we'll be delivering substandard goods and services in quotes because our professionals are in other countries. So how would the government tackle the issue of brain drain?
They should make the country safe. They should make it very conducive for living. Now, the number one beneficiary of brain drain is Canada right now, followed by the USA. And people are already fidgeting because Trump wants to do what they call cleansing, or immigrant cleansing. Those that don't have the papers or something, they should be thrown out of the country. And they've started it gradually, but it's going to be full-blown. The UK, that had a funny policy as against immigrants, they are now looking towards Africa because of this Brexit issue that is happening there. Because they know that they are running into crisis gradually. There is a course there is a program that wants to happen, that is happening soon, that they want to put up for, I think, students or so, to more or less, it's focusing on Africa. Normally, they usually have it in the UK, but the UK will always decline visas. Now they are taking it to Belgium.
Okay.
Because, so the UK is trying to sit right to put things into place. Now, let me tell you this. A couple of months ago, I saw on Twitter a man that earns well over 6 digits, left Nigeria. In quote, he was using a Lexus, whatever, one of the latest model. So for somebody to be able to afford the latest Lexus,
it means he has a comfortable living.
He's comfortable, but he's living because of security. He's living because of security, power, and so on and so forth. So it is not even having good job, good life. Some people don't want, I know some friends, they said, I don't want to be like Dangote. I just want to be comfortable and have a good life. My kids, everybody, the family, my mom, I should be safe. Not that I should start raising money for ransom because they kidnap this or kidnap that. There should be health facilities. Not that we have to fly somebody to India or to the US or to the UK or Saudi Arabia because of one ailment or the other. I met someone recently. The mother passed yesterday morning, and it was cancer related. At the hospital, they said that is the best they could do. Wow. Meaning that nobody, they could, I don't want to mention the hospital, it shouldn't be as if I'm doing free advert, but if you're going to mention hospitals in Nigeria as I'm talking to you, it is either the number 1 or number 2. The worst is number 3. They have branches all over. And the best they could get is what they could give. And the woman passed yesterday morning at about 3:15 a.m.
Outside. And there's a statistics that you're twice likely to die if you have an operation in Africa. than if you have it abroad.
Leave Africa alone. Let's face Nigeria. In Nigeria, let us even put it in perspective. Yeah. In Nigeria, because we don't have the capacity, and those that can do it, they can't stay here because we can't pay them. And even if we can pay them, do they want to stay here that somebody can kidnap them tomorrow and robber can just, you know, they will just die for free? And the policing system, if you say, okay, they should investigate the death for years, okay, who killed Bola Ige? Till tomorrow, we can't even get the answer. If they could kill the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice, and for well over 10 years, we can't say exactly, we can't even narrow it down to some certain individuals, and prosecution should be in court, and they should have even concluded that by now, then I think we have a challenge on our hands.
Okay, moving on. We've identified the problems, we've identified the challenges overpopulation face.
Yeah.
We face because of overpopulation. How should we really deal with it? I know you've already made mention of the fact that the government should, you know, pay more attention to infrastructure, and
security,
economy,
health, you know,
security. But these are things that we've been saying over the years. So practically, if you were part of the government, practically, how would you deal with this issue? Because we've been the solutions have been peripheral. Can you give us a more direct solution?
Yes, we need to cut the birth rate. Fact. We cannot shy away. Maybe in future, we can now drop down what I call it, a law or order, or, you know, persuade people. We have to do another thing they call advocacy. A lot of people don't, if you get to Ikoyi, for example, you can see a very big building. Everybody living there, maximum 5, including gatesman, the cook, then maybe father, mother, and maybe 1 child or 2 children, max. Go to Badia, Ajegunle, some funny. You can see the example you gave the other time. Just 1 room, they had a complete football team and a coach. You can see one. I have a friend. They are 12 in number, father and mother inclusive. No, they are 11, father and mother inclusive. So I usually call them 9 children, father and mother 11. You know, making 11. I usually call them complete football team. Yeah, because
okay. So you made mention of advocacy.
Advocacy. Then we should have a proper birth rate, family planning, advocacy team that will go to the areas where they have these issues, especially the low-income earners, where they populate. And we know that we don't need to. It's not far-fetched in Nigeria. You have them in places like Ajegunle and the likes like that. That's where they really need to focus on. And they should make sure that the primary health centers in areas like that, they should be functioning. When we'll do that, as we are doing that, it's a two-way traffic. We should be improving the economy at the same time. We should be empowering people at the same time. We should be working on our power at the same time. Not that we are releasing money, that we released 1 trillion naira for power. Implementation is another thing. You can release the money and somebody should take it out and go and take it to one of the safe havens we have in the world, whereby Cayman's Island and the likes, where the money steal money, stack it there, and the money goes missing.
Okay. Now, I was speaking to a government official recently, and he said that one of the issues they are facing is having the correct data, to work with, you know. And part of the issues that resulted to that is the issue of migration, because yes, we know that a lot of people were not born in Nigeria, but because of our borders are porous, they come into the country and they add into the population. So how do we deal with migration into censuses? Because we need to
Nigerian customs and immigration, it falls within their purview, especially Nigerian Immigration Service. If they are there and we can't have, and we're having this type of challenge, they need not to be there. They should ease them out. Probably they should go and look for another job somewhere. We really need to work on that. The issue of on our borders, the issue of Fulani headsmen that
for the purpose of this show, let's stick to headsmen.
No, hold on. I'm mentioning Fulani headsmen that people are shouting Fulani headsmen. They are not Nigerians. It's a mixture because they look northern-ish, and the fact that the Fulani are predominantly headers and the southerners are predominantly maybe fishermen or so on. They just added them together. Most of them are not from this country. So if the immigration can really work very well to control. The exit and entry of our borders, the issue of Boko Haram will even be it will cut it by half.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure
for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
I know that you're very passionate about this country, and we have a lot to say, but we'll definitely do that next time.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.